Good evening and welcome to the Psych Call Shop. I'm Aeson Knight and sitting down tonight with Brandy Van, instructor and medium out of Pennsylvania. How are you, darling?
I'm doing so good. Thanks so much for having me tonight.
No problem. So, how did you begin working as a medium?
Sure. So it goes back to when I was like 10 years old, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize I was a medium at that time. I was just hearing voices. And so I just thought I was crazy. And I was afraid to tell people about it because I thought they would think I was crazy. But as I got into my 20s, I had a profound spiritual experience. My grandma was passing away, and my family and I were all in her hospice room. And as she took her last breath, I literally felt her spirit rise above the bed. And as I looked above the bed, I saw the most like magnificent colors. I don't even think that they're in this world. And they were forming a star and they were beating in and out like a heartbeat. And
Mhm.
in that moment, without even knowing how I knew, I just knew that she was at peace. I knew that death was not final, that she was moving on to another place, that her
Mhm.
angels, her, past loved ones were there to welcome her. And everything changed for me in that moment. And I just realized I had this amazing gift and I didn't want to ignore it anymore. I wasn't afraid of it. And yeah, that really got me started on my journey.
Very cool. Very cool. So, with that, what type of medium are you?
So I'm a medium where I can contact a deceased loved one, and then I really love to give messages of healing and comfort for people who are grieving, so they can ask questions. I can try to get answers for them, and
Mhm.
really just give them any validations that the spirit that comes through.
Right. So, you're more of a mentalist medium, meaning you don't. They don't take over your body. They're not using your voice box. You're in full control there.
Yes. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm clairaudient. So I mostly hear the messages. And then I also
Okay.
have some clairvoyance as well, where I am seeing like visions or like a home video or a photo album, but mainly clairaudient. But sometimes I do get some clairsentience where I can like feel their energy and I start to
Mhm.
talk like them or make their mannerisms, things like that. But I'm still in control of my body for sure.
Right. Yeah. So have you ever done anything like trumpeting or any of the older skills of mediumship?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God. Okay. So trumpeting is where you sit in a circle and you have this
Okay.
brass tube that looks like a trumpet.
Okay.
And the medium that's conducting the sitting will use their energy, and spirit will take the trumpet, and the voice is literally coming out of the trumpet. I've
Wow.
seen this done in Virginia at the Arlington Church. Very
Oh, cool.
amazing.
That
They
is
also
amazing.
do this what I call color box. It's a wooden box with no metal in it because spirit's sensitive to metal, with crayons, color pencils, that type of thing. And everyone holds an index card, and then they go into a Ziploc bag, and they're sealed, and those are put into the color box, and the lid's shut. And then you do a traditional setting, and then at the end of the session, you go over and open up the color box, and sometimes Spirit will take the index cards that were in the Ziploc bag and create pictures for their loved ones.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's
incredible.
yeah, that's like the funner stuff. What I call the funner stuff. It's the rarer stuff we see now. Used to see in
Yeah.
spiritual mediumship. Yeah. So, but you aren't just a medium, and you also teach classes. Tell us about your program.
Yeah. So, when I was in my 20s and I had that experience, I tried to develop my abilities for years and like nothing
Right.
was working. I was reading books, I was watching TV shows, and like nothing was developing my ability. So I actually gave up for a while until my friend who's a life coach was like, don't give up. Maybe there's something you haven't tried. And so I decided to look out for a mentor. And once I
Hmm.
found her, I only worked with her for maybe like 6 hours over 6 months, and my abilities
Hmm.
just skyrocketed. So I was like, you know what? Why are there like no mentors for this? And now that's what I want to do. So yeah, I've created a 90-day mentorship program. So anyone who might be feeling lost or confused or doesn't know where to start, or they're taking these little 1 hour classes that really are sorry,
Right.
they're giving you something. They're not giving you the full puzzle, right? So this is a
Right.
90-day extensive program for anyone who wants to develop their intuition, and it's all over Zoom, and they always have access to me to ask questions so that they can, see someone who's already been in their shoes and what I did to develop my gifts so that I can now help them.
Right. Um, so with that, what's that program entail?
Sure. So, of course, first you have to have an interest in it, or don't, don't join it, right? So, you of course want to have an interest in it, and it's something that anyone can develop. It's just like any other skill, like basketball or playing the piano. So, I have about 70 exercises, which a book might give you like 4 or 5, or a 1 hour
Right.
class might give you a few, but again, it's not the whole puzzle. I have
Right.
everything on video and also written out. So, and they also have lifetime content, so they can, replay, rewind these videos as
Hmm.
often as they'd like. And then we also have biweekly Q&A live calls so that they can ask questions. And, really, I can't guarantee that in 90 days they're going to magically be psychic. But what I
Right.
can guarantee is if they keep doing these exercises, they will
Right.
become a psychic.
Right. And it's the harder work. That's, the 90 days is great, but that's not going to propel you up to, Sylvia Brown's level of reading or
No,
Vincent
I'm
von
so sorry, but
Prague's
you're breaking
level of
up.
reading.
And
Oh,
so sorry, but I
okay.
didn't hear that last any of that because you were breaking up.
So your 90-day program isn't going to propel someone to be like Sylvia Brown or Vincent von Prague, or within that 90 days. Like there is no easy button for being psychic.
You're totally breaking up. I only heard the word Sylvia Brown, I think. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, why don't you come back in, close out, and come back in, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, let's take a break, guys.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to Rowan Temple of Light at Gmail, or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you.
All right, is that better, darling?
It is. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
wonderful. So we were talking about your 90-day program and how it's not going to propel them within that 90 days to go from what I call stiff to Sylvia Brown, Vincent von Prague's replacement.
Yes,
You know,
totally
and
agree.
because there is no easy button for being psychic, and a lot of these books make it sound that way. That you do my program, you do your manifesting journaling, you do your oral cleansing, you meditate 8 hours a day. I don't understand how someone could do that, but okay. And you do this diet, and it creates you to be a psychic. It doesn't work that way, does it?
Definitely not. It's definitely something that cannot be rushed. So if people are trying to rush this, it's just, and a lot of times it's not even dependent on the person. It might just be when spirit wants them to be able to, get into
Mm-hmm.
that gift as well. So yeah, there's really no, there's no set time that you're magically going to be be it. But I feel like because I have been through it and I created the program off of what I did, it didn't take those 3 months. I worked on it for 6 months, but then I also was in a practice circle religiously
Mm-hmm.
once a week for 8 months after that. So it's definitely not
Right.
an easy practice. The hardest thing is always the self-trust, trusting your intuition, trusting the messages you're receiving. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
practicing is so important, so that you start to gain that confidence that you need. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not something that I can teach them. I can encourage them and try to instill
Mm-hmm.
that confidence in them, but they really need to do that themselves. And there's
Mm-hmm.
no time limit on, when someone might have that confidence.
Right. And there's some students you just got to make an appointment and lock them in the office and go, nope, you're doing your reading, get over it.
So true. Yep.
Because they get so down on themselves, they get so scared, that type of thing, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, you can do this. No one's going to go and like beat you over the head if you don't. You just got to get the practice in here. That's one of the struggles I have as an instructor. It's like getting the students to do the work.
Yes.
You know.
And really just letting go. If you believe in yourself and you believe in spirit, just let go, and the right messages will come. But I think too, people get afraid because there's so many like fraudsters out there, and they don't want to be seen as a fraud. So I think they get scared of
Right.
that as well. Like, what if I give the wrong message, and then are they going to see me as a fraud? But that's why it's very important to practice, so that it is free, and you can make those mistakes, and until you build up your
Right.
confidence. It's not like anyone's paying for you then, so it's just a matter of practicing.
Well, it's a matter of practice. It's a matter of developing that muscle of the,
Yes, I
right
say
there
that
of the
all the
brain.
time. Yeah.
And then,
Yes.
getting out there and doing it, not for your friends, because I think those are too close. Getting out there and really doing that with people you don't know. Doing the
Yes.
what I call watching people behavior. What are they going to pick up off the shelf? Where are they going into? What store are they going on to? That type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, your friends can be easy on you, and sometimes your friends might even lie about a validation just to encourage
Right,
you. So yeah, I totally agree to do it with strangers, and yeah, that's the best way to go.
right. And with that, which let's talk about some of the modules that you have here. Um, journaling for spiritual growth. What's that entail? Like, is it like these 3 pages a day, scripting your life, or what model did you use there?
No, I actually have journal prompts to really get them to start thinking. So I have them look at their spiritual past. So maybe,
Hmm.
questions like, were your parents open minded? Or if you ever told them about your ability, that they just shut it down like that. So you kind of see where your past was, and then also where you
Hmm.
are presently. Do you actually believe in it? Are you having any blocks or anything hindering, any limiting beliefs that are, kind of blocking you right now? And then also, where do you want to take in the future? Do you want to help and heal people? Do you just want to yourself, or both? So I kind of have basically 3 pages of spiritual journal prompts that they can go into
Hmm.
and really start to think of where it came from, where they are, and where they want to go with it.
Right. Okay. And then module 2, you'll be learning how to set intentions. What's that about?
Yep. So setting intentions in your everyday life, because when you can live intentionally, you really live with more of a purpose, because you're not just kind of dilly dallying and letting your life go by. You're actually going to achieve more goals by setting those intentions. But also,
Hmm.
intention setting could be, I set my intention to remember my dreams tonight, or I set my intention to communicate with my spirit guide. So I teach them all different types of intentions that we go through in different meditations. But that's why it's at the beginning module, because then throughout the rest of the modules, they're going to set their intentions for various different things. So that's just basically getting them to recognize and to start setting intentions in their lives.
Right. And then module 3, you cover the fears, the anxiety of reading. Do you also cover the psychic self care there?
I do. Like, I always tell them things like it's very important to hydrate. You're expending a lot of energy. I teach them how to protect their energy, restore their energy, how to pull in from cosmic energy, which is limitless, instead of using their own, so that they don't get very
Right.
depleted. So yeah, I go through a lot of that as well, because you want to make sure that you're doing it in a safe and wise way, and not just, doing it and not protecting yourself.
Right. And then, module 4, you begin learning the chakra system. Which system do you use there?
Yeah, so I just go into the 7 chakras, the main ones, and then I teach them how to do unblocking of the chakras, different meditations, journal prompts, positive affirmations. So it's basically a quick overview of what the chakras are and how
Mm-hmm.
to unblock them or recognize if they are blocked, and then exercises to unblock them.
Right. Interesting. And then module 5 is where they begin reading. Right?
Yep. So that's whenever they can, yeah, they can. I have them do a couple of different exercises. So now we can try to figure out what type of psychic they are. Are they a healer? Are they a medium and
Mm-hmm.
can talk to deceased loved ones? Are they an
Mm-hmm.
empath? Are they, an intuitive? So I kind of go into different exercises to see which one they feel like they're excelling at, so we can kind of focus on
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I'll always offer them, if you need more exercises in any category, I can give them extra. I have a whole library of extra exercises as well. Or if it's something
Right.
that's not in the modules and they need help with it, I can always help them research that as well.
Okay. And then 6, you learn how to interpret dreams and spirit communication.
Yeah, so now we're basically putting everything that we just learned from modules 1 through 5, and we're putting it into
Mm-hmm.
steps on how to actually do a reading and connect with, whether it's a spirit guide, a loved one, whoever it might be. Yeah, so, and also the dream interpretation. I mean, there could be a whole nother class on that, but it does go into dream
There is. There
interpretation.
should be like a lot there.
Yes, there's a lot for the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So, recognizing the different dream categories, manifestation, latent dreams, lucid dreaming, also the psychic dreams, and then how to interpret them. But yeah, it's a whole nother thing.
Right. And then that's where you learn how to create income out with your psychic gifts. What are some of the things you cover
Yeah.
there? Like, do you cover legalities and, all that, or where's that go to?
So that I'm actually doing an alumni program, and that's where they're going to learn more about building the business. In this
Uh-huh.
first 90-day program, I'm more telling them the type of job. So whether they want to be, a pet bereavement counselor or a death doula, I'm just starting to give them ideas that, since
Mm-hmm.
it's still very taboo in our society, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about these things, and I really want them to notice that there are
Mm-hmm.
these jobs out there, whether they make them a full-time job or if they do it as a side hustle, that they can create income in ways that maybe they didn't think of.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Um, so in your alumni programs, tell us a little bit about those.
So the alumni program is way more customizable. It's basically what you found in the 90-day program. And now you tell me, they actually tell me, this is what I want to go more in depth with, and then I customize it for them. So maybe they do want to go deeper into dream interpretation, or maybe they want to go
Mm-hmm.
deeper into become a healer or a medium. So I'm actually customizing it for them, and same thing. And then I'm always going to add in the business and how to gain the clients, how to become more confident. All of that will go into the alumni program.
Interesting. Um, what roadblocks have you hit developing your courses?
Developing the courses, I had so much information that for me it was really like limiting it to the 6 modules, really picking out what I thought really resonated with me the most and what I found was the most important to develop my own abilities. Yeah, so it was
Mm-hmm.
really like narrowing it down, so that someone
Mm-hmm.
can accelerate their journey, but at the same time not be completely overwhelmed with all of the information out there.
It can be very overwhelming. It can be very difficult, especially when you're just like dancing into it. And spirit's like, get your ass moving. What the hell?
Yes.
You've been waiting a millennium to do this. Like, let's go with this. How do you help
Exactly.
your students get through that phase of, I just feel like spirit's pushing me forward? Like, what do I do? How do you handle that?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's actually there's two phases they seem to go through. The first phase actually is they get maybe through halfway through the program and they tell me, I don't think this is working. I don't want to give up. This isn't for me. And I have to really push them and say, the louder your inner critic gets, that's when you
Mm-hmm.
really need to push harder, because that means that you're getting so much more closer to your goal. And then once they get through that, I swear within just like a week or two, that's when spirit pushes them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible how they have to almost go over their own hurdle before spirit will really push them. And then they start to recognize all these signs and synchronicities that are going on, and they get way more excited about it. And I tell them that they'll get there, and we're getting so much closer. And yeah, so that's whenever I really want to. I almost change the Q&A calls into doing the exercises with them so that they get that extra
Mm-hmm.
work in. But yeah, it's amazing when they kind of get through that hurdle, and now they really can feel spirit pushing them.
Right. Tell us about your Q&A calls. How do they run? Like, they're
So
by
the Q&A
Zoom?
calls, yes, they're by Zoom. They're every other week for about an hour. And I have the program as a group program and then also as a one-on-one. So that way the one-on-ones also get the benefit of the group. But if the group setting doesn't want to do one-on-one, so that, they have their option there. But they're basically
Mm-hmm.
on the Zoom call with me, and I have an accountability worksheet so that they can, keep accountable on every 2 weeks, work on this module so that they keep on track. Because even though it might
Right.
take them longer than 90 days, they only have me for 90 days, right? Unless they continue into the practice circle or the alumni program.
Right.
So I want to be there with them as much as I can. But yeah, it's really I'm just very fun and outgoing and bubbly. And so I try to make the education
Mm-hmm.
as fun as possible. So, I answer their questions, and then, if there's still 40 minutes left or however long, then I'm really doing the exercises with them, or I'm adding more exercises that aren't even in the modules to give them something new to try.
Interesting. Interesting. So, with that, let's switch over and talk about your private practice. How's that work?
Are you referring to the mediumship readings?
Yes.
So the readings, I'm only doing about one a week right now because I'm really focusing on the mentorship program. But when someone
Mm-hmm.
goes for a reading, I really recommend that they, even like 24 hours before, that they start thinking of memories, that they welcome that person's energy into their field, that they give them permission to come to the reading. And then at the beginning of it, I do a spiritual like meditation with them, because a lot of times they can be very nervous or anxious or emotional, and so I'm
Right.
trying to really calm them down. But the way that it works is spirit will give me very small validations at first, and that's really because I need to build a rapport with the
Right.
spirit, and we need to really gain each other's trust. So it might go from something as easy as, your mom loved roses, right? Which seems very simple, and the sitter's always like, okay, this is not very impressive, to then really more extensive and something that I would never know. And so that's when the validations really start coming through. And I explain that to them. We're building a rapport here, so it's going to be very like mundane things, and then it gets very extensive as we go on. But the readings are about 45 minutes, and then I always close out with them, seeing their loved one walk away in the white light, for us thanking them for coming there. And that's always the hardest part for me, is closing the reading, because, I just created this memory and this awesome experience for someone. And so it's always very hard for me
Mm-hmm.
to close it out.
Right. Um, so, with that, do you like your clients to come preloaded with questions? Which style of mediumship do you do? Do you do the what I call the New England style, when it's like, here's the evidence, all I want is yes, no? Or do you prefer the more Floridian style that's more conversational?
Definitely the Floridian style. It's definitely more conversational. And I tell them they can ask questions if they'd like. So yeah, they do ask a lot of questions as well. But spirit might not want to give those answers, or they might not be ready to hear the answers. So, and just like I can't ever guarantee that spirit's going to come through, it's kind of the same thing where you could try, but you might not get the answers you want, and you might not like the
Right,
answers you get. But I'm always going to
right,
try for them.
right. And sometimes, when I've done connections, it really depends on the spirit. Example, if the spirit was like, I don't like people I don't know, what the hell are you doing here at, like, my spirit guide has got the question, what the hell are you doing here bugging me? I dealt with these people for 70 years. I'm staying up here. Tell them I don't care. And, it's just like not showing up.
Yeah.
Have you ever
And
had that experience?
yeah, absolutely. And I know within like the first 5 minutes if that's going on. And I always tell the sitter, we could try again, maybe in 6 months or so, but like it's not going to happen
Mm-hmm.
tonight. And not only maybe is my spirit guide protecting me, maybe their spirit guide doesn't want to have them hear a message, but also if someone is grieving, it's almost like a brick
Mm-hmm.
wall. And it's like, how can I get through this brick wall? So they might have to just wait a little bit longer until their grieving, gets a little bit better per se, before I
Right.
can actually get the message.
Right. And, also it takes a time for spirits to adapt to the other world. What's your recommended time wait?
I tell them at least a year. So yeah, I make them wait at least a year before we try to contact them, and that's for the human as well, because they do
Right.
have to go through that grieving process also.
Right. And it takes a bit there to get there to, begin working with different, to figure out how to communicate with us. Very much like a psychic training to communicate on the ether level.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be like 15 years later, and I hate these messages, but a lot of times people think that as soon as they cross over, they're at peace. And their loved one might have passed away 15 years ago, and I have to give the unfortunate message of they're not at peace yet. They will get there, but they're not there yet. And that's always such a
Right.
hard message to give. But that's just a reality of, they might have some kind of anger or guilt or whatever's going on with them that they haven't,
Right.
crossed into the peace side yet.
Right. And sometimes, spirits, they get pissed off. Like, especially I find when they've left too soon. And it's
Yeah.
like, I ain't done. I don't want to talk to anyone. Go away. So, that's when you have to deal with, like, the gatekeepers or whatever. There's 100 different names for them. But basically, the caretakers on the other side, they go, this one ain't ready to talk to you. Come back later.
Exactly. Yeah. It's usually, in my experience, ones that have committed suicide, ones that have died too young, or even ones that have just, no matter what age, just died tragically and they weren't expecting it. Those are the main three that are sometimes very hard to get a reading, or, like I said, they're not at peace yet. And it's very hard to give the reading.
Right. And, the other side of that is sometimes, if they were a pain in the ass on this side, they ain't going to be, sweet and lovable on the other side. They don't change that.
Yes, their personality stays the same. And I actually have a funny story about that. So I was doing a reading for someone once, and this man was like this little old, like grumpy, rude man. And I'm giving him these messages, and I'm like, I feel bad giving him these messages. Like, this guy is so grumpy and rude. And then, like, 20 minutes later into the reading, the family just starts cracking up. And here the joke was on me. He had always been very sarcastic, but I couldn't tell the sarcasm. I was just giving these rude messages, and they're all like just holding it for me, and then like just laughing by the end of it because he had me fooled.
Right. Well, let's cover something else. I have never seen a spirit care about who gets the ring, what they do with the car, where the papers go. None of that.
Yes.
And the longer they're over there, the less they care. Where's the wheel? I don't know. I don't even think I filled one out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a material possession, and they don't care about it. And it's sad because some people, that will be their question, like, what do I do with mom's old house? Or, I feel really guilty about selling it. And I have to tell them, like, they don't care anymore. Like, they don't want you to be stressed out. So just do whatever is less stressful for you. That's all they care about. They want you to be happy, and they will accept and forgive no matter what you do. So it's really like not a big deal to them anymore at all.
Right. It's like, do you really care what happened to your second grade English book? No.
It's so true.
Yeah. So is there more modules coming? Are you developing more of this course through the alumni program? How would that work for someone taking your course?
Yeah, so actually I have a little pre-course as well. So if someone is not sure if they want to dive into a 90-day program, I have a little mini course. It's self-study. And I tell them straight up, you will not develop your psychic abilities by doing this course. But if they want a little taste to see what it would be like to see if it's something they wanted to develop or dive into the 90
Mhm.
days, at least they have like a little taste of it to see if they're really interested before they dive in. But then from there, they would go into the 90-day program. After that, they can choose to do the alumni program. And then I also have the practice circle, which they can stay in as long as they'd like. And that's where I bring in sitters who know they're practicing. So that way,
Mhm.
there's no money involved and there's no pressure unless they put it on themselves, so that they can really start to practice their ability. That's all I have right now. But as you know, there is so much more that can be done out there.
There
So
is.
yeah, I
Right.
just feel
I
like
mean,
I just started this in April, so I'm sure there'll be more to come, but that's where I'm at right now.
right. And so with that, I'm going to throw in some controversial things going in
Okay.
with in the industry. Have you heard about the Texas psychic that accused the Idaho professor of doing the murders?
No.
Oh
It
my
sounds familiar.
goodness.
I might know about it, but please
Yeah.
tell me.
Okay. So there was this psychic that's a TikToker.
Oh boy.
Let me rephrase that. The supposed psychic that was a TikToker, and she made like 103 videos accusing this history professor that didn't even know um, the students in the Idaho murder, the
Hmm.
one that the four people, the Kavanaugh murder.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, she got two cease and desists. Didn't pay attention to him, so the professor's now suing. Some of the stuff she has said in her legal filing, I'm like, you're an idiot. That's not how that works. Stop scoping your player for fame there. And I'm like, and literally, I have commented on a few live streams. Can the judge order her never to be allowed to do a reading again?
Right?
Because we don't need that crap.
Yeah. It's like we already have an uphill battle, right? People already might not believe in this stuff. They don't want to talk about it. And then you have these fraudulent people that's making it even worse for us. So
Right.
it's very upsetting to
And
hear
it's
that.
like, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, please, let's get a professional psychic board. I mean, the closest we have is Bob Orban,
Yeah.
who does like the investigations, keeps tracks of your readings, that type of thing. I think in this country, we need a professional board. Very much,
Yes.
it's like, the bar association.
Yeah.
What would that look like for you?
Oh, that would be amazing. Because, like think about in the UK, they have Arthur Findlay College. You can't even do a reading unless you're certified. I mean, to have a
Hmm.
certification, to just have the society that believes in it that much that would be able to give you a certificate. Usually I say certificates aren't worth anything, right? But in this society and in this case, it totally is because
Right.
it would prove. I mean, there's already scientists working with psychics to see what's going on in their brains. I do believe at one
Right.
point, maybe it's not in our lifetime, but it will be proven. But yeah, if we just had a better accepting of it and had that available and really could regulate it, I mean, it would bring
Hmm.
so much more credibility to us. And yeah, it would be amazing to
Well,
live in
not
that type
even
of world.
like regulated, but to be able to like ban people who are charlatans.
Yeah. Yes.
I get
Yeah.
so tired of doing psychic cleanup work. What I mean by
Yeah.
that is when you get clients that have been with some of these charlatans, and it's like, no, that dirt they swept off the kitchen floor, sold you for $5,000 is not going to bring him back. Throw it
Yeah.
out like the trash and move on.
Yeah.
Those are hard cases.
Yeah.
Or, you get these psychics that make these statements publicly, and it's like, what is on the planet? One, no one asked you to do a reading.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Two, you got how many ceases and desists did it take you to get overran by? Like, get a clue here.
Yeah. Oh my
You
gosh.
know, and see that affects so much because then that's when people turn to mediums. It's like, so there's that case in Texas
Yeah.
right now. Can you channel them up and see what actually happened there?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
not how this works.
And of course, those are the ones that are in the news, right? Not like
Of course.
the ones that are validating. And yeah, of course, those are the ones that
Hmm.
come up. Yeah. I always tell people, just like you would go to a plumber or get your hair done, look for a testimonial. Ask the medium, have you had a client in the past that I can call up? Because if you can call that person and they say, hey, I got gypped out of $5,000, like at least then you're protecting yourself.
Well, that's when you've got to put your Googler to work. Because if you feed any psychic worth their salt into Google, there will be news articles, networks they work with, programs they either do or complete. Like the internet is forever.
Yes, yep. Yeah, and it stays there. Yeah, exactly. You can't
You know,
hide.
and I'll tell you my top bad feedback. I'm rude because I don't sugarcoat. I don't go, oh honey, he's such a narcissist. This is why you dating him. But you're like, bitch, you learned better. Stop trying to take his ass back.
I am not like that. I would be like, honey. I
Uh
would be the
huh.
opposite. Same message, but in a different way.
Yeah, I'm very like upfront. Everyone that's commented here has had readings with me. They know I'm not nice because it doesn't help to be sugarcoated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I don't sugarcoat. I just am nicer in the message.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's your personality, and that's the way things are supposed to be there. So, what about your students? What have they gone on to do?
Yeah, so my one student is so amazing. So he was going through something, and I didn't even know what he was going through, and I had to look into it, right?
Hmm.
But he's able to now channel Archangel Saint Michael, and he's an
Okay.
angelic healer. So
Very
he
cool.
makes these like healing balls, and he throws them out to people. And after he channels Saint Michael, these people are getting better at like I would say like a 98% rate because at first he thought it was coincidence. And of course, I'm encouraging him to keep going. And then after
Right.
so many times, it's like, this is not a coincidence. So just like a couple of months ago, he was praying for this baby. She had been in the NICU for 11 months since she was born. And then he prayed for her for 3 days. And now she's home and she's doing amazing. And it's like story after story after that. And he was one of
Right.
those people that in the middle of the program was like, I don't think this is working. And I had to encourage him. And now he's doing amazing things.
Hmm.
I also had another client who was subconsciously psychically attacking other people. So I had to really calm her down. I usually it's the opposite. People are saying I'm being psychically attacked, but she was psychically
Hmm.
attacking others. So she's not doing that anymore. I really had to develop her ability and show her how to use it, even in her subconscious, so that she stopped doing that. So luckily, she's not doing that either. But yeah, it's amazing that the different paths that people are taking. It's awesome.
Exactly. So, how many psychic poltergeists have you dealt with?
I don't think I've ever honestly had a poltergeist.
Do you
Yeah,
know
but
what
the
that
only
is?
thing I do, you mean like what, like when things move around and things? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yes, but no. It's when like
Okay.
psychics and mediums who are undeveloped
Mm.
start hitting that fever pitch of emotion, so therefore you know their strength is building, and then that psychic energy starts acting out.
Oh, okay. I have not had that happen with any of my clients yet.
Yet, and do you pre-warn them about, after this course you will have to like keep keyboards and mouses and cell phones and backup computers ready because you will blow them up?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
because that
myself,
happens.
like it's funny because my husband's a skeptic, but I'll be like
Uh-huh.
meditating. We have a 4 floor building that we live in because we're in the city. It's very narrow and tall. But I'll be in the basement meditating, and he'll be on the 4th floor, and like all of a sudden his ceiling fan will like go on high, and he's always like, "Tell your friends to go away." So it's crazy how I can even manipulate energy without even realize that I'm doing it.
Oh, very much so. Well, darling, tell them how to check out your courses, where to find you at.
Sure. So my website is brandyvan.com. That's Brandy with an I and just VAN. And so that's brandivan.com. And if they want, they can actually sign up for my email newsletter list and they'll get a free PDF. Now, this PDF is to show them that we all have psychic experiences, but if you don't know what to look out for, you don't realize that you're having them. So it's basically a little quiz. Have you ever had these experiences? And then it also breaks it up into categories of the different types of psychics, so you can kind of get a feel for what type of psychic you would be. But yeah, everything is on there on my website, and I would love for them to check it out.
Awesome. All right, darling. Well, thank you. And come back and let us know how things are going, okay?
Awesome, I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces. Is he cheating? Is she cheating? Whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen. My extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvan.com. That's TracyVann.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you would come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions?
Right. I still have to get those commercials updated, guys. That will be happening soon.
Yes.
Some changes.
New year, new us.
Yeah, normally.
Alrighty.
So how are you, darling?
I'm doing pretty good. Oh, it's been a very long day, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
It is.
Yeah, so how are you? Sound like a great interview.
Really good interview, very comfortable interview. I like meeting up and talking with different practitioners, seeing how things are going. So it was a great great interview. So I see you have brought something before the Are You the Asshole Council. What do you got?
I have. All right. Am I the asshole for telling another mother our children aren't close anymore due to intelligence levels? My daughter, let's call her Sophie, used to be best friends with Kat. They used to be best friends in elementary school, but ever since middle school have started to grow apart. The school split the kids into advanced and normal for math and science. So advanced math, advanced science, normal math, normal science. All other classes are still together. My daughter got placed in the advanced and Kat got placed in normal. No big deal. They still see each other in school. They were still close friends until group projects. There have been multiple group projects and kids get to pick their partners. Kat and Sophie usually work together, and that is when issues started happening. Sophie would get really frustrated that the work Kat did wasn't correct. I told her to just turn it in without fixing it, and she got a bad grade on that assignment. After that, Sophie went through a period of time fixing stuff. After a while, I told her to stop doing group projects with her. So they stopped doing projects together, and the friendship blew up. So they are not friends anymore. It's Sophie's birthday, and invites were sent out. Kat wasn't on the invite list my daughter made. I got a call from Kat's mom asking why she wasn't invited. I informed her they aren't really friends anymore. She said invite her anyways, since this is just a spat. I told her the people invited were people my daughter wanted at the event. This went for a while and came to why they weren't friends anymore, and I said it was due to both girls' intelligence levels, and tried explaining the group project issue. She got pissed, accusing me of calling her kid dumb. Never said that. She called me a jerk. Edit, I did tell her they weren't friends anymore. She kept asking why. That's the reason I brought up the issue of why they aren't friends anymore. I wasn't going to lie. Also, she should already know why that friendship blew up. The kids were arguing about it constantly for a while.
Okay. See, it doesn't sound like it is an intelligence issue.
No, and I think that's where this all went wrong.
Right.
Because the reality is, it's probably not that there's a massive intelligence difference between the two.
Right.
I would say it's probably minor. It just sounds like, Sophie works harder than Kat does. Like, Kat does not pull her weight. She's not even trying, and it sounds like she's picking the friend for the group project that she can get away doing the least work. So dump it all on her friend. Meanwhile, Sophie is sitting here having the whole moment of, excuse me. No, I'm not going to do all the work. Which she did to a point, but then, like anyone who's ever been in that situation, you start getting mad. Right. Especially if it's the same friend over and over and over. And it's like, I'm not going to earn your grades for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're using me, you're exploiting me.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't cool. And that's the real, like, why the friendship blew up. It doesn't really have to do with the different levels.
Right.
And I think the biggest problem here was OP thought it was.
Right.
And I'm struggling with, are they the asshole for it?
See, I don't think that they're asshole, but I don't think it was their responsibility.
Well, I think they got cornered into it by a parent who is a friend, Kat. Kat's mom just kind of cornered Sophie's mom.
Right.
And was like, you're going to tell me what the problem is, or you're going to invite my daughter.
Right. Which I think is totally rude.
Yeah, but that's kind of, I think, normal anymore.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think a fair number of parents, this is where they exist at, is there's like the kid relationship and whatever's going on there. And then there's the parent back and forth.
Right.
Which at some ages is normal.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? When you're at playdate age, which is where this sounds like it started.
Right.
Elementary school, you get kind of, like the parents have to talk to coordinate this. And being that that's where they started, I think there was an assumption that they were more friends than they were.
Right.
As in the parents.
Right.
And so I kind of understand Kat's mom and the slap in the face to be told effectively,
right,
my daughter isn't friends with your daughter because your daughter's dumb.
Right.
I can understand hearing that in what OP said.
Right.
When that's really not the case, and that's really how it should have been framed, but I really believe that OP believed what she said when she said it and really wasn't trying to be cruel.
Right. But I think that, see, this is one of those, this should not be OP and OP's and Kat's mom's issue. I think that the other issue here is to realize that children move through friends throughout their lives. Some of them keep them, some of them don't. And that is basically where you start getting into trouble, when you start involving parents in that friendship more than facilitators.
Right. And I think that's really where you kind of have to be on a parent's side in a fair number of situations. Like, you have to know where the line is between, is your kid being unnecessarily rude, cruel, spiteful, whatever?
Right.
And is your kid, like, I don't think it's wrong for Kat's mom to have called OP.
Right.
And been like, what's this?
Right.
But I think knowing the line where it's like, okay, I'm going to drop this now. I got an answer. It was intentional.
Right.
It sounds like the kids have an issue.
Right.
And you know what? They're middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
They're old enough to start learning that sometimes people aren't your friend anymore.
Right.
And you got to be okay with that.
Right.
That forcing some, like calling up some, like your mom calling up someone else's mom to force their kid to invite you, the kid, to their birthday party is kind of not the mom deal.
Right.
So I'm going to go with not the asshole.
I'm going to go with not the household also. But the poll is up. Now let's explain our options so everyone is clear of them. Yes, the mom is the asshole for saying the kid is dumb. No, the mom is not the asshole for saying the kid is dumb. Everyone is shitty here, meaning everyone has crossed the boundaries. And your deal pickle means you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, and just to be clear, technically she never called her dumb. She just really misunderstood the situation.
Right.
But regardless.
All right. Now we do have a relationship advice. Let's dig into that one.
All right. So my girlfriend, 36 female, kept me, 41 male, up all night before an important work project, and I don't know what to do. Something pretty heavy just happened in my relationship, and I'm reeling, exhausted, and devastated. Last week, I had an important film shoot. I'm a producer-director. I was delayed in picking up the gear, so it was 10:30 p.m. or so before I had a chance to check all the equipment in our shared studio apartment. Still, it was an hour and a half of work at most, and I could still get enough sleep that night. My girlfriend arrived home around 10 p.m. or so, and the moment I started looking over the gear, she asked me if I needed help with the equipment. Initially, I thought this was a little unusual of an offer because she and I both knew that she doesn't know the gear. I politely reminded her of that fact, and that what I needed now was total quiet so I can focus on the 8 to 10 bags I had in my possession to make sure nothing was missing, everything worked, to charge the batteries, etc. We had done projects together in the past with her starring, she's an artist, and she knew enough to know that, well, she didn't know the gear. So I continued on my task at hand. Then the next question came, do you want to look over your storyboards? I said, no, actually storyboards have been done for 2 days. What I really need is quiet. And then the next question came, do you need help with interview questions? I repeated a similar thing. No, interview questions are done. I just need quiet. There was nowhere for me to go in our small studio apartment. So at one point I put on AirPods to drown her out, but she still talked over the music. I had audio gear, camera gear, and lighting, so even the smallest missing piece could be costly on the day of the shoot. It wasn't a hard task, but I needed to be really focused for that hour and a half. What followed from here, I'm still having trouble getting over or understanding. For the next 2 to 3 hours, I was being offered help, which I didn't need, and I repeated myself again and again with the same refrain, I just need quiet, please, that she repeatedly ignored. Every time I was interrupted, I lost my focus and I had to start that particular task from the beginning. I was getting more and more, desperate as the hours went by. First, I was worried that I wouldn't get enough sleep. Then I started worrying if the task would get finished at all. At a certain point in the night, this was still going on, 2 a.m. or so, I started losing gas. So I shifted strategies and tried going to sleep. The idea was to get a bit of rest and then do it in the morning. But at that point, my heart was racing and I was so upset and confused about what was going on that I couldn't sleep. So I got up again with a bit of a second wind and tried again. And there she was again, offering her help, distracting me. I went from politely asking to be left alone to pleading to begging. Eventually, I got angry and yelled. Nothing worked. In the end, I got less than an hour of rest that night and was late to my own set because I had to do that essential work I couldn't finish with her interrupting me. The shoot went well, somehow, but it could have been a complete disaster with me running on no sleep if I couldn't perform properly. I'm writing all this because I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I had a loving relationship, My girlfriend and I have had a loving relationship with a lot of common ground and a lot of good times. I've known her for our entire relationship to be somewhat obsessive in her career, theater, and interests, which has its drawbacks. I really love her, but I'm leaning towards breaking up. She gives no explanation for what happened. What the actual heck just happened? Has anyone ever heard of behavior like this in what was seemingly a happy 4 years relationship? I can't seem to get much out of her besides, you seem stressed, but I wasn't. I was ready. I just don't understand what's going on. The shoot on no sleep was grueling, but I survived. I'm still so physically and mentally tired and beat up by what happened. I'm stunned anyone would behave this way. I just don't understand.
So what happened was jealousy. Point blank jealousy.
Okay.
Like, girlfriend's jealousy is doing the shoot. Girlfriend has to insert and is trying to insert herself because she's used to being the left hand.
So basically, your thought is, as an artist, actress, whatever, right. She's so used to all the attention being on her, just the mere fact he asked
right.
for her to go away,
mm-hmm.
set off like a chain reaction in her that it's like must right. gain focus,
attention.
Focus. Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! Look at mm-hmm. me! Look at me!
Right.
Ooh, I can follow that. Right. Like, because I wasn't working on any good assumptions there, other than it sounds like whatever this was, mm-hmm. she just really wanted attention.
Right.
But I was trying to figure it out. Yeah, right. I was trying to figure out from the other side.
Okay.
Is if it was like what was spurring this? That's what I couldn't
right.
piece in. Was like,
right.
what's the like, hi, this is super immature.
Right.
It's not a difficult request. I mean, and I'm trying to like sort out, like, had he been gone for a month? Like, you know what I mean? Like, give me
Right.
something that's like, why are you so determined in this moment that all eyes are on you?
Right.
That just no matter what, you're going to throw down the toilet.
Right.
Any ability he has to prep for the shoot and get sleep.
Right.
What drives that?
Right.
Yeah, I think Brenda's on the same page.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds needy for attention or getting petty revenge for something. And that's kind of where I was at, but I couldn't figure out the something.
Right.
Or like what drove it.
Right.
But I would figure after 4 years, this would be pretty normal.
Well, not if they've worked a lot together. And she's normally doing her own thing.
Oh, as in usually he has more time and it's like, okay, you go be whatever. Like, I can do this in 12 hours instead of an hour and a half.
Right.
Oh, so Mika's wondering if she didn't know what to do with herself because she's one of those types that needs to offer help. They will make you give in and take their help.
Right. Because think about it. The projects he's normally worked on in the past with her, I bet she's been prepping for her role in the project as he's prepping for his.
Like, she already had a different task.
Right.
So this is the first time, really, though, in 4 years, this is the first time they've been...
Do you math?
You know what I mean? Like, I've got to do my thing, and you don't have a thing.
Right. But think about it. 4 years. Let's count back these 4 years. Okay. And then look at shooting and production.
Okay.
2020, no, probably nothing.
Likely, yeah.
Yeah. 2021, 2022, probably some joint ventures there. 2023-ish into 2024, we go back to live.
Yeah, Mika was catching the same thing. They COVID coupled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. I really would have thought that somewhere in the intervening 4 years,
right?
Like this would have occurred.
Yeah,
and I guess that would be my OP question: has this not only has this behavior never occurred, but has the situation where like you're having to prep the night before, she don't got nothing. Like, how does that normally run? Or is this literally the first time in 4 years that y'all have been at odds, having to like, you need to do a thing, but she has nothing to do. Like,
and
she
not
definitely
being
is
involved in the project.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like she's one of those people you have to give a chore, even if it's busy work.
Right.
Like, and that's I like talk about parenting your spouse.
Right.
Like, that is so like, no. If you have to find something for your other half to do, like, that is a whole level.
Right.
Of now granted, that could have been a great one. Babe, can you work on making me a lunch for tomorrow since I'm going to be so busy? That's fair. That's fair.
As long as he's not a sandwich and chip man, because that's 5 minutes.
Yeah. Although, if she's as obsessive as she sounds, it could turn into like a good hour and a half process.
Right, but it's going to be 100 questions. That's the other problem.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Potentially. Well, unless it really was she had nothing thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've met those people that will drive you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
If they don't have a thing.
Right.
Now, I've also met people that if you don't give them a chore, they fall asleep.
Right.
Like, I know those people.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Like, as in, like, the minute they're idle, they're dead. Like, that's
Right.
it. They just...
Right. But it
Right.
seems like this was the first project she was not involved in at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's might have been a consideration, but I don't know how at this, like, if you don't already know that,
right,
then yeah, it definitely sounds like that life comes at you fast kind of moment of like, what the fuck? So yeah, I would be like, yeah, well, and yeah, give her a chore, but at the same time, it's like the additional mental effort required when you're already like, I got to get this done and go to bed.
Right.
To have to stop and be like, all right, what can I give her to do so that I can do this and go to bed?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Invent a list of things you need from the store.
That, or, there's a lot of prep. There's been a lot of chatter on not this subject specifically, but more so on doing events on TikTok. On one of the TikTokers I watch, they're on a 2 week of hell event, and they're giving them crap because like they're not replying to messages, not comments, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, send her to do paperwork. Can you go check and make sure we have all the permits done? Can you go and make sure that we've got lunch and a cooler packed? And I'm done with this bag. Can you load it in the car?
Yeah. Either that, or at the point in which she is listed off, like the interview questions, the storyboards, the blah, blah, blah. Just taking a moment and being like, okay, honey, can you go over those? Like, can you just read over them?
Mm-hmm.
And make me a list of notes if anything doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then once I get done with this, we can sit and review that.
Right.
Like, that could have been an option. But again, I think this was a life comes at you fast, and all of a sudden you're facing a behavior
right
that you just never saw before in the relationship.
Right.
I also kind of wonder if that's true, though. Or if this was like, they've recently gone through the NRE die.
Right.
Where it's like, she's been like this all along and you thought it was cute and adorable.
Uh-huh.
And then now you've hit the other side of it and it's like, what the hell?
Right. And I can understand his frustration because when I'm trying to pack my show bag, my gear bag, it's like, leave me alone. I've got to think what I need. I mean, decks I need, and I understand the interruption because, like, that causes me to forget tarot decks I needed to bring for the event, business cards I needed for the event, and it's like, go load the car. Go check the water bottles.
Or like I do, just hide in my office.
Exactly. Because I'm a freaking tornado when I'm packing.
Yeah, like I just stay out of the way. Nothing you need for an event is in my office.
Mm-hmm. Debatable. There's some choxy stuff in there I could steal.
No. Not happening. No. Stay out of my office. You're not using my office to pack your show bag. Not happening. But no, I literally do. I just end up either A, I'm in here, or he waits late enough to do it. I've already gone to bed.
Right.
The only thing I have to worry about is if he realizes something's in the bedroom that he needs.
Right.
And even at that, that's marginal.
Right.
Sorry, I just read Shannon's bento box charcuterie board lunch. That'll keep her busy.
Exactly. Vegan.
Also, we have nothing in the house to do this. Go to the store.
Exactly.
I mean, but does anyone else have a moment of that sounds like really woman get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich? I'm just gonna say it. I'm just saying it.
Uh-huh.
Anywho.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a moment you really have to question, is this something you can deal with in your relationship? Because this isn't gonna stop.
No.
Like, you have become the activities director for your other half, and you didn't know that was part of your job responsibilities.
Either that or you need to move it out of your working space.
Yeah, that would be a good moment to just go rent a storage building, and this is where you prep your stuff.
Right.
You do not come home with it. You do not bring it into the apartment. You do not try to do this with her. Because you now know how well that's gonna go.
Right.
So the equipment gets stored where the equipment gets stored.
Right.
And you don't ever walk in the house with it again.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, theoretically that could work. I mean, that's troubleshooting it, but again, this is more of a, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I can understand that can get frustrating.
Right.
And it would get frustrating, but like, that's kind of the realization in this is, are you prepped for this? Or can you get prepped for this? Are you willing to do this? This is your price of admission moment. Right. You are her activities director.
Right.
She is incapable of finding a way to occupy herself.
Right.
Without your direction.
Right. You know, and it's like, she needs to go do her own thing.
Yeah. Mika brings up, she'd probably bitch about that and ask why he's making these changes. Because I think that's a reasonable next. Like, you start changing behavior, people... It tends to also give off the wrong signal in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, you're hiding something, you're cheating, you're something.
Right.
You're doing something you don't want her to know about. And it's not that you don't want her to know about it. It's you don't want to be interrupted while doing it.
Exactly.
It's quite frankly, I can't put all this together and deal with you.
Right.
But when you say that,
mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone who's going to hear that and be like, you know what, you're right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm probably a real pain in your butt while you're doing this.
Right.
You know, like, no one ever processes that. It's you're a bastard for saying it.
Right.
Like, that's the silent part said out loud.
Exactly. So that's my recommendation, is you get work out of your home.
Yeah. Even if it's, I mean, maybe even just a little teeny tiny storage locker.
That, or, you know, go rent a hotel room. Not a good hotel room. You ain't going to need the whole you ain't going to need good. But go rent a hotel room if you've got to prep the night before.
And just, well, but see, that even sounds worse.
We've used that.
Well, yeah, but we, probably being the optimal word,
right?
We get a hotel room before stuff,
right?
I'm sitting here from a relationship standpoint, hearing, you know, oh, well, I have a shoot tomorrow. By the way, I'm getting a hotel room for the night, so I'll be ready to go in the morning. That's gonna sound sus. That's gonna sound sus.
Well, what you say is, because of your behavior last time, I've decided to get a hotel room this time because I need to do this prep work. I need to make sure I'm ready for the shoot, and I'm going to do it there because it didn't work well for us in the same room.
That's fair. Though, again, I don't know how well that goes over with her.
Well, probably,
like,
you know, right. She's going through a temper tantrum, guaranteed, but you've got to preserve your work.
Do agree, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nothing you're asking for is like, oh my God, why would you need that?
Right.
No, but at the same time, I think processing that, that's going to take work.
Yep.
That's going to take work.
Right.
So yeah, renting the hotel room the night before will work. Maybe.
Yeah. Right.
How well that goes over time. I just
Right.
kind of
That doesn't
hate
mean
that.
you have to sleep there. You're going to go there and you're going to prep your equipment. You can sleep there if you choose to.
Oh, bless your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You really think he's going to leave what's probably like $5,000 worth of equipment just sitting in a hotel room overnight? Alone?
Well, again, that's up to him and his discretionary decision.
I'm just saying from an IT perspective, if I were prepping a job for the next day,
right,
and like we were in this situation and I, whatever, and I just, not even equipment, not even like I'm going to go in and do a like server setup and all this. I just mean my tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff I already own. If were to, like, just thinking about that, my skin crawls at the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I would not sleep that whole night.
Right.
Because I'm just going to sit there and envision someone's going to break in the hotel room, steal everything I have, and then I'm going to basically pants down on this client visit.
Right.
Because here I am. I have nothing.
Right. But, that would be my recommendation is if she cannot handle the behavior, then you move the behavior out of her reach.
Yeah.
Send her to the hotel room.
Oh, that could be fun. Send her on a girls' night. Again, though, I think it really comes down to the question of, are you ready to do this, though? Like, I think that's the question. Like, we can give all the, like, workarounds.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, he really has to ask himself, do you want to do this? Because you just took on a mental load.
Right.
Like, you've got to be her activities director. One way or another.
Right. Give her something to do. These are her tasks. Okay. So, first, the poll is up for, are you an asshole? But I want to talk about something, because we live this every year. Not to this extent. I think you'd kill me.
Okay.
Okay. So the Blue Bodie, you know her. She's the one that explained that time difference thing that occurred to us.
Okay.
Okay. She's been on a road trip. She's been on a tour for 2 weeks.
Right.
She is getting shit for not replying to texts, emails, all this. So I thought since you're not a psychic, we're going to go into a scenario that I book a hell 2 weeks. Not a weekend, a 2 weeks. What's that look like for us? Would you, text messages, phone calls, all that. Where's all that fall in?
As best we can, when we can, if we can. That would be your sum up, is because I'm looking at it from, I'm driving, what the hell you want me to do?
Right.
Like, that's generally it. You typically stay on top of stuff mostly. Like, you can't do it while you're at the event, and I'm co-supporting at events. But, and quite frankly, after doing like 70 readings in a day, no, you don't want to hear what he has to say.
Right.
Like, mostly it's snoring until we get near a, IHOP, omelet shop, Waffle House, whatever, at which point he becomes like Night of the Living Dead GPS. Turn him. And then once he's had some food, he might get you, like, catch up a little. But again, it's all going to be like, where are we? Do we have service? Like, how trashed are you after an event? And I don't mean drunk or high or anything like that. I mean literally physically trashed.
Right.
Because it takes it out of you. Like,
Right.
even if you were to just stand there and not do a single reading, you would be trashed.
Right.
And then you did readings.
Right. But add in that, not just one of them, not just 2 weeks of that.
Back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
3-day event, 2 days on the road, 3-day event, 2 days on the road, 1-day event, 2 days on the road. Like, she powerhouse.
Now, is she doing all of this alone? Because we're talking about a we situation.
She's got a we. Her and Sassy are doing it together.
Okay.
Working the events, packing the events, but also doing remote shipping. So she's processing orders on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot even imagine adding that to the mix.
Well, theoretically, like, I mean, to even consider this, you have to prioritize. It becomes a game of triage. What's my most important thing? Someone gave me money for stuff. That's pretty fucking important.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wants to bitch and moan and whine about their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we can handle this later. Like, we can, whatever. Someone is contacting me about the event, change of venue, change of time, change of whatever. High priority message. That's what I'm looking for.
Right.
That's going to be mine.
Next Thursday. These are things like because she doesn't have a booking system like I do.
Okay. So I'd say that's probably a poor choice there.
Right.
Like, get the booking system. It will save you time.
Right.
And it will, once you get over the initial hump of clients that are used to personally contacting you to schedule their appointment.
Right.
Once you get over that hump, and I think maybe that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's a level of service that people got during the panini.
Right.
And I think she kind of came to prominence in that, and she was able to give that 24/7 immediate, like, as fast as you can response. And it sets a customer expectation, especially when you do, like, when you're just starting out and you don't have that many customers. You don't have that many clients. You don't have that many people seeking your services, and you're trying to build the brand. It's real easy to set a gauntlet for yourself that, like, but can you maintain that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're randomly taking calls at 2 a.m. and you're responding to emails within 20 minutes and you're doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to start setting a level of expectation. And I'm surprised that her first problem with it that she's talking about, or that's coming up, is with the ticked off client not getting a response. Like, I give her kudos for that. Like, that's what you want to have happen, because the flip side of this is she burns herself out during this 2 weeks, trying to maintain everything she's always done and maintain that client experience, even though she's on the road and she's doing this and she's got the events and she's blah, blah, blah. Don't know if she has signal, don't know where on the map she is, and just churning and burning as hard as she can go.
Right.
The alternative of, oh, you had to wait a few minutes. She didn't get back to you yet. Like, hi, quit being the center of your own universe.
Well, I wanted you
and
to
expecting you to
comment.
Be the center of mine.
Right. Wanted you to reply to this comment because I've heard this complaint. Well, I guess you're just off laying by the pool and gallivanting for the 2 weeks.
Here's the thing.
Right.
I would probably fire back on that one of, yeah, it's great. And then, like, do a, like, I'm living the dream. and then send a photo, because you know she's got one in her camera roll that's just like the shit show she is in. Because I think her personality kind of might mesh with mine enough that like she has documented this for every time it's been a fucking disaster.
Well, now I think that, and this is what she's done, because I've been watching and going, God, I want to go do this gym show. Because she's off in Arizona. It's fucking beautiful. It's fucking warm. That's great. But the event space was freaking storming Norman. But she done, I think, a 4-hour live yesterday with live sales occurring. You know, here's this piece. Number 23 is up for sale. Who wants it? Okay. You know, boom, 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 that type of thing. But she's documented this whole trip. And I think this is her downfall. Up until this morning, you didn't see what it looks like the morning after.
Yeah. Well, no, and you're not supposed, so to speak, you're not supposed to share that part. Like, again, talk about the silent part out loud. Is you don't want to sit there and trash an event or trash an event organizer or trash customers.
No. And this is showing what, you know, her hair looked like Tina Turner because it had developed its own appeal.
Okay.
She should have booked a larger hotel space because she did not have enough space to do sleeping, eating, and shipping for 2 people.
Right.
You know, she was talking about all the other things that are going on, like setting the table up, packing, you know, the totes, unpacking the totes, repacking the totes, unpacking the totes, repacking the totes. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, like, I don't know. Next event, we may do this. I don't think we'll do it as a live because, you know, I'm still trying to get to 1,000 TikToks, but we may videotape the full thing.
No.
Okay.
No. Because here's the thing. Is there an audience for that? I'm sure there is. There is. I don't think it's the same audience of customer, keyword, that's going to pay for your services.
Right.
I think it's a peanut gallery that will sit there and criticize the fuck out of you.
Right.
And I mean that for you. I mean that for her. I mean that for anyone. Like, we have an expectation of what personal branding is.
Right.
And, you know, to a degree, as screwed up as it is this belief that you're going to work the 9 to 5. You're going to do all the things. You're going to, you know, be the cookie baking mama with the perfect hair and the perfect makeup. And you're never going to let them see you sweat.
Right.
And this is what we ask for in personal brand. Now, typically when we see it from the other side of the looking glass, and it's the whole blow up of the realities of, you know, my hotel room is a disaster, the car broke down, my hair's a fucking mess, you know, I'm eating garbage, you know, while talking about the importance of, you know, all of the things.
Right.
And self-care and all this. And, you know, just because it's part of the thing, especially for y'all in your industry.
Right.
But when you go on the road, a lot of this stuff isn't possible. You're just dealing with the disaster that you're handed. Now, you can go home and do the thing and recover once this is all over. Right. And that becomes the bigger lesson. But while you're on the road, it's the shit show.
Right.
Like, I will say this with all honesty, and I mean no offense to anyone. I really don't. We have yet to do a single event that it was not a shit show. On some level. It's the nature of events. It's not the organizer. It's not the venue. It's not the customer. It's not that. You're on the road. You're away from home. You don't know if you have service. Crap happens.
Right.
You're just trying to survive it.
Right. Well,
You're in
and people
survival
see
mode.
that 4 to 5 hours, sometimes 8, long event, 8 hours on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
They understand that started prepping on it on Wednesday. Wednesday, we got to pull linens, wash them, dry them, make sure they don't look tattered, check equipment. Thursday, we're planning menu and making sure, doing the shopping for the house and shopping. I can't imagine trying to stock Invisible for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, there's that. Well, not to mention, and again, it's not like you haven't had things happen. And I also want to talk about this because if we're going to go there, we'll go there.
Let's go there. Like she opened the gate, let's go to it because I'm tired of hearing people criticize her.
Yeah. You want to talk about a moment? I will tell you what our worst moment was. He went to do a one-day event. Oh, actually, no, I think it ended up being it was back-to-back events. This was the first event.
Right.
You went to do it, got all the way there. You're setting up your table. We are literally like 30 minutes from go time. You don't have a single deck of tarot.
Right.
Not one. Not
Right.
one deck of tarot made it into your bag. Nothing. Not an oracle deck, not a tarot deck, nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Not a deck of playing cards. Nowhere around us has anything.
Right.
Which was ironic because I think we were technically at Crystal Lotus for that. And she ironically was out of tarot.
No, we were not. I know where we were.
Oh no, it was Ohio. It was Ohio.
No, the event. It's a triple play. We were at Crystal Lotus. This is when I had the office. I packed the car for the event. We done Crystal Lotus. I did not use my checklist because it's like I've gone up here forever.
I've done this.
I get interrupted that day. I don't remember what it was. There was something going on.
Yeah, that was so. It was the second event where this all went down because when you had the office, you left your tarot there.
Yeah, I had.
That's how the situation.
My
occurred.
show stuff stayed there because I don't need to carry it home. I'm leaving from there.
Yeah,
we leave Crystal Lotus. We drive to Ohio that night. We get in like 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was that the Hocus Pocus Tea Party?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No. So we get to the Ohio event. I'm unpacking, and my bag is packed. My show bag is packed in a series so that everything from the top of the bag goes down to the bottom. Last thing that comes out is the decks and the business cards.
Yep.
30 minutes to go time. We're setting up, blah, 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 chitter chat. Oh, fuck, I have no decks.
Yeah, and he's ripping this bag apart.
Right.
Like they've somehow magically fallen through a ripped seam, and he's going to reach into a black hole and yank them out if he just looks hard enough.
Right. Well, this is when I was using the suitcase bag. Before Super TARDIS.
Right. So he's... And this is what I really wanted to talk about. He's having a come apart in the middle of a venue like minutes before this is supposed to all open. Because his deck's not in the bag.
Right.
And so we're having to figure out, okay, what do we do? Where can we go?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do remember the venue was near nothing.
Yeah.
And so we're finding out that we have to go over to a shopping mall, to a bookstore
mm-hmm.
that is literally just opening.
Right.
In a mall that is like, I think 15 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mention there's a pay toll bridge.
Right.
We have no cash.
Right.
but it's a pay toll bridge. We get onto the bridge and find this out as we're approaching the toll. We are having to scavenge the car because we can't get off the bridge, and we can't cross the bridge if we don't pay the toll.
Right.
We happened to scavenge through the car and find it was stupid. It was like 50 cents.
Yeah.
It was something ridiculous. Like, it was stupid. We find the 50 cents in the car, and I mean, we're talking like not 2 quarters. We are counting out pennies to pay the stupid toll because it's cash only. Pay the toll, go through that whole ordeal because the thing's only meant for quarters, and it's a thing.
Right.
Get across the bridge to the shopping center. Right as the doors to the store open, he dashes in and has to figure the store layout, find his cards, buy the deck. Yay, they had one.
Right.
Get back to the car. We now have to reroute around this bridge because we barely got across it the first time. I will guarantee you, we do not have more quarters or pennies or nickels or dimes.
Right.
But he's having this moment of like, you want to talk about the wash of shame and imposter syndrome? He showed up to an event as a quote-unquote professional psychic without a tarot deck.
Right. Or an oracle deck.
Or anything.
Other than like a crystal ball.
Yeah, like you had your crystal ball. Like, yee.
Right.
But he's shown up to this event. None of his tools. Yes, he thought he had Hermione's bag. Yes, he did.
Yes.
He has just shown up to this event with nothing as far as he's concerned. I'm having to try to calm him down. Like, honey, it was an accident. It happens to the best of us. You know, like, I've shown up to event or to clients without the tools I needed. It's okay. It was a mistake. It wasn't, you know, like, try to put him back together as he's, because I know that we're going to be late for this event. I'm trying to reroute us to avoid this bridge in a city I've never been to.
Right.
And he's at least got a tarot deck now, but now he's freaked out because wash number 2 of shame, and I'm a professional tarot reader, is I'm going to be late for this event. There's no way around it. I'm going to be like 20 minutes late for this event.
Yeah.
And he's having a second come apart.
Because this was a appointment-based event.
And he's booked solid.
Right.
Like, we already know this. Of course, this is one of those venued events that, like, they don't have runners. Right. Like, it's you know what I mean? Like, it was a high-value event with not a lot of amenities.
Right.
If you do events, you know what that means. Which is, it's a money-making event. It goes off well, but it doesn't have any bells and whistles. Right. There's no one to fetch for you. There's no one to carry for you. They're like, pay us your registration fee and show up. We'll point you to a space. That's it. We're done. We'll see you at the end.
Right.
You want food, you want help, you want whatever, you better bring it with you.
Right. You know, like, so we get there, I get through the event, we're done.
Oh, yeah. And flawlessly, clients love him. He was late for one appointment. He managed to catch up within the next 2. He's perfectly back on schedule. He's fucking taking 30-minute breaks because he's got his damn clients already done before their appointment times. He is plowing through. He's taking additional clients in.
Right.
Like, just rolling it. And is still at the end of the event. Like, he gets done with all this. He has done amazingly. He has made money. It has been a great event. The clients fucking love him. Everything's gone smoothly afterwards. Like, he's been tipped. He's been, like, you would think he has gotten enough emotional feedback from these clients to be like, you know what? I was having a crisis this morning, but it's okay. Nuh-uh. We finished that event. He is damn near in tears of what the fuck was I doing?
Right. Because of the next day.
Yeah.
The next day, Aeson's teaching a tarot class in another city.
Mm-hmm. And he has one tarot deck.
Right.
And so now he's having the moment of, okay, do we... And this is where this conversation went that night, because we are hundreds of miles from home.
Right.
Like, we are over 100 miles from home. It is like 8 o'clock by the time that event's over.
Right.
And here's him. Not only is he an emotional train wreck, but then he's looking at me in perfect seriousness, presenting me 2 options for the next day. Okay. Option 1. We drive back to the house so he can get all of his tarot decks for this class. We just walk into the house, grab the tarot decks, and then drive all night long to go to this event. And then do the event. And then drive all the way back. Option 2. He is going to go out somewhere in the middle of nowhere at 8 something at night and continuing the clock down on a Saturday? Yeah, on a Saturday. It had to have been a Saturday. On a Saturday night, he is going to figure out somewhere to go buy tarot decks. And he's going to buy like 20 of them. Brand new. So that he has them for tomorrow. And I am looking at him going, we are doing neither. Okay? Breathe. 1, there ain't no way in hell I'm driving back to the house to get the tarot decks, to drive all night, to then like go to a hotel for like 2 hours and do this event tomorrow. 2, where? Where do you think what magical store that sells tarot decks do you think is open right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not getting up in the morning to play this game in yet another city.
Right.
Of find the tarot deck. Not only 1, but find like 20. Because your class specifically says tarot deck required. They are not supposed to show up without one.
Right.
They are not supposed to show up without one. This is going to be the rubber meets the road. If they are unprepared, then they're going to have a really annoying 3-hour class.
Mm-hmm.
They can share with a friend, or they can walk the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it.
Yeah.
We showed up. This is the first class ever. Everyone had their shit. Everyone had their shit. They have like, they've got their manuals, they've got their cards, they've got extra cards. Like, everyone showed up with everything they were supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
Never happened again. Never happened before. Never happened
Right.
since.
Right. Well, the other one that stuck out to me, and it was the one that you inserted your first set of rules for me.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Was Hell Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
2018.
That's 4 events. 4 events in like 2 days.
Uh-huh. In 2 states.
Uh-huh. Go for it. What are my rules?
I can no longer do multiple events on a weekend in multiple states.
That's rule 1.
Uh-huh.
He can do multiple events. I don't have a problem with that. They do, however, have to be in a reasonable drive of each other.
Right.
A reasonable drive is not 3 hours in the pouring rain.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what Hell Weekend was. This is why we call it Hell Weekend, is because it was hell. Right before we left the house, it started a downpour. I saw nothing but rain for the next 72 hours. Mm-hmm. And I mean, blinding, can't see. The world, no matter how fast or how good those wipers are, is a blur of brake lights and headlights.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm driving in. To go from an event Saturday morning to an event Saturday night to an event Sunday morning to an event Sunday night, we have left bright and early, super early Saturday morning. We are driving straight back Sunday night after the event.
Right. Well, it's even more than that because we started Friday at Crystal Lotus. We left Crystal Lotus and went to Ohio. We done 2 events in Saturday in Ohio.
So it was a 5-event weekend, technically.
Yeah. We turned back around, came down to Crystal Lotus, done one of their parties.
That might have been Hocus Pocus.
Right. Wrapped up a Hocus Pocus, left out of there 2 hours early, drove back to Ohio, done 2 more events, and then came home Monday morning because you said, I'm not driving back tonight, get a hotel.
Yeah, that was when I started throwing the gauntlet down Sunday night, was I'm not going to make it. Because I looked at you and said, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
Like, if you want to die, we drive home tonight.
Right.
Because you're in no shape to drive, and I can't see a damn thing.
Right.
Because I hadn't been able to, like, and I don't mean, like, I needed new glasses, I couldn't see a thing. I mean, it was raining so hard.
Mm-hmm.
No one could see anything.
Right.
We are all just out there looking for white and yellow reflections, hoping that might be an indicator of a road, and headlights and taillights.
Right. Now imagine doing that, because that's what Bodie has done, for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, at that point, I'm going to have a blow up. Like, it's going to be like, hand me your social media. I'm going to have a come apart on social media of shut the fuck up. All of you. Sit your fucking asses down. Take a number. And in 2 weeks when I'm back, and have had a very, very, very restful night's sleep.
Right.
Really long, hot shower.
Right.
In my own home, I will pretend to care enough to start going through the list of y'all in order. And I will get to you when I get to you.
Mm-hmm.
And say one wrong word. Say one wrong word. Find out how fast you can become not a customer. I will block you. Say I won't. Hi.
Yeah. This is why I have an operations manager now.
But no, I've over the course of this, because, and this is the thing, is when you are in these building periods, and everyone goes through them. It's not like you build up once and that's it. Like it's cycles. And he was in one and was like trying to do his absolute best at everything all the time. And taking on levels of stuff that's like, are you trying to die?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumping the brakes. Like, no, it's not worth it. Like, we're going to die. Like, we're going to die if you keep going at this level. I can't physically do it.
Right.
Like, I cannot drive to an event, work an event, drive back from an event, all in the same, like, 18 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Not when it's 100 and some miles away.
Right.
Not, no. Like, because we used to do Morgantown, 3-hour drive up,
All right. Pull out
3-hour
4:30.
drive back, because it doesn't get shorter. Probably more like 4-hour drive back, because at that point I'm toast. But we used to do all that in one day.
Right.
Until I was like, no, sir. No, you're going to kill us.
Right.
Like, because I'm good till we get to Flatwoods, and then I'm ready for bed. I'm toast.
Mm-hmm.
And the drive from Flatwoods to the house is a very long stretch of deadly terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Let me fall asleep for 5 seconds. We will slam into a mountain or drive off of it.
Right.
Either which way it goes, not going to be pretty.
Well, and that's why, I don't do a lot of events anymore. It's because I'm too old for this game. I'm too old to pack up my business, pack up Joe's business, pack up the house, pack up the event space, load it up, take off, come back, and undo all that, redo all that, and then come back and undo all that.
2019, we were on the road 48 out of 50. What, 46 or 48?
46.
46 weekends of 2019 out of 52, we were on the road.
Right.
As horrible as it is to say, the panini probably saved our lives, because it put a complete halt on doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because events shut down, no one's having an event, there are no events, fuck the events don't exist. And let us re-examine what we were doing and how we were doing it,
Mm-hmm.
without an option to just keep doing it.
Right.
Because he had events booked for 2020.
Yeah.
And it was going to be, it hadn't filled out to the 46 out of 52, but it was going to head that way quick.
Right.
Like, the first 3 months of the year were already like bam, 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 bam. Oh, we were going to take off for the 14th, for the weekend of Valentine's Day, before, after, during, whatever it was in 2020, for you to be on network, and then bam, 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 bam.
Right.
Like, you had a class scheduled, you had this event, you had that event, you were hosting an event, and it was like a repeat of 2019 was about to happen.
Right. And
I have to say that in that regard, it probably stopped us from doing something that was, and I don't necessarily mean it was going to kill us, like literal dead.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, might as well be, because I don't think we could keep it up. I think we pushed through 2019. I don't know how we survived it and still had businesses.
Right.
Just to turn around in 2020.
Right.
If we had done another year of it.
That's when, someone asked what David had to say about it. That's when David's like, stop. Look at this conversation you're having with this event person. They don't value you. They're mad you're not there.
Mm-hmm. Some of it was that, but I mean, like, the literal, and I think Brenda's question came in at the point in which it's like you were having that first, like, meltdown weekend. Mm-hmm. Like, what was David saying then? But I think it's also important to ask, like, coming out of 2019, before we knew then what we know now was going to happen, what was he saying then? Like, what was he just sitting there like, you're going to find out? Or was it like you were getting told, like, sit down and shut up?
It was more so like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what? Okay.
Like, and were you sitting there justifying yourself?
Yeah.
Like, I have to do this. I have to do this. What it like? Shut up, David.
Yeah, like
Shut up,
we
David.
have to do this. We can't let this person down. We got to do this. We can't let this person down. This one asked for a favor. I've got to fill this in. This is an interview I have to do. So, it's like boom, boom. And at that time, it's throwing plates. I mean, because 2019, we had the networks running.
Mm-hmm.
We had the station running. We had the offices running. We had, because we have multiple offices at this point, and there's only one of me, and I still hadn't gone hands off with some things. That's something else.
Oh, Mika. I remember I used to wonder if Aeson ever slept. LOL. He would be on a show at 9 or 10 p.m. till 11:30 p.m. and then 3 a.m. on Keen, still sending email newsletters at noon, like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now there was a little bit of magic there.
Right.
But no, he would literally, like, he would send that email newsletter at like noon.
Uh-huh.
Stay up for probably another hour, go to bed, hopefully not have any clients book while he's simultaneously hoping that clients do book, like private clients. Getting us to wake him up to go take a client call when they were scheduled. Like 10 minutes before, wake him up, throw a coffee at him, hand him a phone and a headset. He does a client appointment, keeps his shit together, gets off the client call, passes back out till the next one. And yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't sleep.
Right.
Not really. It was just a series of like cat naps and like having the simultaneous moment of, please don't let any clients book today. Like, I just want the man to get one continuous stretch of sleep. Because I'm scared to death he's going to have a heart attack from sleep deprivation. Because this isn't healthy.
I can do 68 hours straight.
Well, and again, having a nursing background, I understand that, but here's the problem: is it was becoming this like never-ending treadmill of just like you're running and you're running and you're running and you're running, and it's like, at what point does your heart just go like, no more caffeine? I need sleep. Put me down. Like,
right.
Coma. Medically induced coma.
Well, yeah, and we've learned from those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
We have a larger handle on things now than we did. The people pleasing is like almost done. I have hours. I have a schedule. Y'all guys get to watch that every Sunday when we plot it out. I have contractual obligations that have to be met. That's different. But no, now there's like scheduled sleep. There's scheduled nap breaks. There's, but you have to look at where Aeson has been through to get me to that point. Because when you stay in alpha 16 hours to 19 hours a day, and yes, I said 19 hours in alpha, get over it, you little whippersnappers, get up to speed. You can do a lot more than the human.
You can, but then there's the price to pay.
Yeah.
Like, you always got to pay the piper.
Right.
Like, that's the other side of this. And again, no one wants to see that. You don't want to see him after the hell weekend.
Right.
Like, he's trashed for days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's zombie Aeson just, like, somewhere in his brain still recognizing I have to be the man, like the Aeson Knight, for all my clients and all my client calls. But in between that, I'm dealing with a zombie toddler who doesn't know if he has to go to the bathroom, if he's hungry or whatever, but he's about this close to screaming and crying. Breathe wrong. Breathe wrong. Breathe wrong. He's going to lose his shit.
No.
And that's days after an event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, just, here's coffee, here's food. Did you go to the bathroom? Because he hadn't thought to do it. I wish I were joking, and I know it sounds funny, but legitimately, he has forgotten how to human.
Right. Because I had been in alpha for so long. Once you're in alpha wave for that wave, you forget the human body's needs, wants, desires. Who cares?
70 hours or 70 clients at an event. 70 readings back to back to back to he took a bathroom break to he smoked a couple of cigarettes. But otherwise, back to back to back to back to back to back to back. That was the one event that you did annually, the Halloween party.
Right.
Every year was like 70 fucking readings in one night.
Yeah, and that's not my top.
No, but it's still, it was a level of insanity because it's only a few hours.
Right.
The event's not that long.
No.
And he did 70 readings.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's mostly on drunk people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole other level. That's a whole other level.
Right, but you've seen me at the top of my game when I've done 236 readings in a day.
But it's not sustainable.
No.
Money's great. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. One, it's not sustainable. Two, it trashed his body.
Right.
And it took a while after, like, the rebound through 2020 of his body getting back in shape. I think that year you caught everything but the Cortini, whatever we're calling it. You caught everything else, everything coming and going. You were sick that whole year.
Right.
If it wasn't a sinus thing, it was a stomach thing, it was a this thing, it was another thing, it was migraines, it was back pain, it was, your body was trashed, but you had basically propped yourself up for so long, and just there's no option but to do it. So to speak, testicular fortitude had taken over, and you were just running.
Right.
No, Nicolette, we are not both mediums. I'm not a psychic. I am an IT guy.
Yeah.
I'm useless. If you're looking for a medium, I'm useless. But
yes, I do limited mediumship live. Preferably, if you want a good mediumship reading with me, book a private appointment over at aesonknight.com. Psychic, I can read all day on you. But no, it takes a lot of work. A lot of base work, a lot of long work, a lot of building those muscles up. And I love Blue Bodie. Love her work, her stuff together. All of it pulls together.
Oh yeah, Brenda, drunk energy. Yeah.
I think that's that's been one of his come aparts too. Is I get done with it and he's like, "You've not drunk nothing," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm trashed. I'm drunk."
There's a little more to that. He is stumbling out of an event while laughing like a maniac. He looks like every drunk frat boy ever. Ever. Coming out of an event where he has just done back-to-back drunken readings.
Mm-hmm.
Has he had any alcohol? Not a drop, because he does not drink when he works.
Right.
Whether it's here at the house on network or it's at an event or a party, he does not get trashed.
Right.
In terms of he does whatever, but just the sheer fact he has dealt with people all night long who are drunk, maybe took a little hit of their green vape before, coming into the event or stepped outside for a quote-unquote cigarette, whatever. He's dealt with that all night, so he gets to the end of the event, he's trashed. He cannot operate a vehicle at all. Do not ask.
Right.
He can't pass a field sobriety test. He will poke his eye out trying to touch his nose and giggle about it.
Right. But, so when you see these events and you see these people that are doing lives or doing content about events, you're seeing none of the prep, none of the post-prep. You're not pulling it together.
Oh, yeah, it's also draining his energy.
It's depending on what it is. Mediumship readings drain my energy because I have to raise my vibration higher. Normal readings, I tap universe and run with it.
But you do get the feedback of everyone else's status. Not to mention 2019, not only are these people drunk at this event, that was the year we should have taken stock in Kleenex because God knows we bought enough.
Right.
Because there wasn't a single reading he did in 2019. And I actually got kind of mad at him. Like, what the hell are you telling these people?
Mm-hmm.
Because every reading, men were crying, girls are crying, you name it, they're crying. Everyone left a reading crying. Mm-hmm. No one left a reading without tears.
Oh, how long does it take to prep for this show, or how long does it take to prep for a live show? A live show, it's 3 days of prep. Mm-hmm. Technically, it's 5 days because I'm also amping myself up. But Wednesday, we do linens and pack bags. Thursday, we've got to do house stocks. Friday, we're packing and loading. Saturday is the event. Sunday, we come home and unpack. We wash everything. Everything gets put away. And then, so we're into Monday there.
A couple of days.
Yeah.
To be honest, sometimes the car doesn't get unpacked till Tuesday.
Right. So if the car doesn't get unpacked till Tuesday, then the tablecloths don't get to Mama Night till Saturday. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a large churn of everything that occurs there because he doesn't iron. Mama Night irons beautifully.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my big things is I don't iron.
Right.
I'll do laundry all day long. I will not iron.
Right. And that's if it's not a costume event. Costume events, there's dry cleaning involved because I'm not wearing a costume and then just putting it back up on the hanger to stink. It has to go get dry cleaned before the show and after the show.
He's a sweaty bear. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty bear. And it is not the kind of sweat that's like, baby, you a sweaty man. It is the kind of sweat that is like, oh my God, you're a fucking teenage boy. Please hose it off.
Right. So,
do you know the number of times I've wanted to just burn his clothes after a show? Start a trash can fire, throw his clothes in it, strip him naked after an event, hose him down at the venue, throw his clothes in a trash can, and light a match. Because it would be better.
Right. So, but if Blue Bodie, if I'd done Blue Bodie's tour, that is at least a month for me of prep and at least a month of post show. Okay. Just looking at it, because it's been an amazing gem show. She's done some other events. It's been amazing. But I'm like,
Oh, the effort required.
to doing the, and it's only her and Sassy doing it. I am amazed. Like,
Yeah.
That's when I bring out my full team. Like, that would be the full team on holster. And I've done that. I've had Invisible with me and him on holster at events. And that's, if you're, looking at doing events, get your team.
Yeah, that whole do it alone thing.
You're going to wear out.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, let's see where the poll's at.
Yes. Oh, we're glad Mika's liking this one.
Yeah. All righty. Very interesting. Very interesting. 66% say you're not an asshole for why the children are no longer friends.
Okay.
33% say that you're a dill pickle. Just sit with it.
I think that's fair. I think that's an appropriate use of the dill pickle.
Right. Yeah. All right. So this is a reminder for my Patreons. Tomorrow night we have a station meeting, and we're going to be doing Time Machine. This will be our fun thing.
It will be fun.
Yeah.
It will be fun.
Yes. So with that, take it away, Vanna.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes, and I'll see everyone on Thursday night with Lady Hazel. Baristas, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock sharp. Good night, y'all.
Good night.